Let your eyes begin to close. Let the day's noise fall behind you, slowly, as we set out across an unfamiliar, forgotten world. A world not made of stone or cities, but of open sky, endless grass, and bone-deep cold. Tonight, we journey to the great steppes of Central Asia, to the heart of an empire built on wind, hooves, and sheer endurance. The Mongols, nomads, warriors, herders, rulers. Their name echoes through history, but their daily lives, their winters, their silences are lesser known. This is not a tale of conquests or maps drawn in blood. This is a quieter journey, a long, cold breath of history, as we step gently into the rhythms of Mongol life. You'll begin in the snowbound camp of a common herder, then follow the path of an orphan who became emperor. So settle in, let the chill of the steppe stay distant. You are safe, you are warm, and you are about to drift through history. Imagine waking before the sun. It is not quiet, but muffled. The wind howls over the grasslands outside your tent, yet inside, it's the thick silence of trapped smoke and chilled breath. You are lying beneath layers of wool and sheepskin. Your body aches from the night's cold, a stiffness that never truly leaves. The fire in the hearth, a small circular opening in the center of your gyre, has long gone out. Its ashes are cold, like the packed earth beneath your bedding. Outside it is 40 degrees C and still falling. You must rise. There is no choice in this matter. The animals, your family's wealth, your survival, need you. They are tethered near the camp, their breath steaming in the air, their bodies huddled together for warmth. But some will not survive the night. A Mongol winter camp is not a settlement in the sense we often imagine. It is a loose collection of circular felt tents, gyres, sometimes scattered across several hillsides. Each family maintains its own structure, centered around kin and livestock. Everything here is utilitarian. Every choice, every object, every movement serves the same purpose: survival. The gyre itself is a marvel of simplicity, portable, durable, and insulated. The wooden lattice walls fold like an accordion. The felt, made from pressed sheep's wool, is several inches thick, coated in a thin film of grease or fat to repel moisture. But it is still not warm, not truly. In the bitterest months, even inside the jar, water left in a bowl will freeze. Meat hardens like stone. You sleep in everything you own: fur-lined hats, leather boots, thick woolen wraps, and still the cold finds its way in. You begin the morning with fire. It is not easy. There is no wood on the steppe. Instead, you burn dried dung, argil pressed by hand, stacked during the warmer seasons, carefully kept dry. The smoke is sharp and thick. It clings to your lungs, your hair, your clothing, but it is the only heat you have. The tea is made from brick. It's not sweet, but it is warm. Food is dry and sparse, air-cured mutton. Hard cheese nearly inedible without soaking. A small bowl of millet if you have it. Nothing is wasted, nothing is thrown away. You eat with your fingers, hunched low over the coals. The herds must be tended. Horses are checked first. They are sacred, not just for transport, but for milk, warmth, and war. Then the sheep, goats, and yaks. You dig through the snow to scatter last year's hay. It is meager. Many families will lose a portion of their herds this winter. Frostbite is a constant companion. Your fingers sting, your face burns. There are no mirrors here. You won't know when your nose has gone white or your cheek has begun to lose feeling. You just keep moving. At midday, the sun offers a moment of reprieve. If the sky is clear, the ice sparkles across the landscape like powdered glass. The silence is immense. There are no forests to rustle, no rivers to gurgle, only wind. Even the birds have gone. You might mend harnesses in the afternoon or patch holes in felt. Some families brew a weak liquor from fermented mare's milk, erag, but it's a summer drink. Now the milk freezes before it ferments. Stories are told in murmurs, often while scraping hides or untangling rope. Elders speak of wolves seen in the distance, of a neighbor's camp swept away by snow, of a son who has ridden south, seeking service in a noble's guard. These tales are not dramatic. They are simply part of the rhythm. At night, the sky becomes vast again. There are more stars here than you've ever seen. They stretch from horizon to horizon, undimmed by cities or smoke. But you do not stand outside long. The cold presses into your bones. Your boots are stiff, your breath shallow. You return to the ger, where the fire crackles softly. The smell of meat, smoke, and damp wool surrounds you. A child cries briefly. A dog huddles close to the entrance, its ears twitching in the wind. You lie down once more beneath the furs, your breath fogging gently into the air above you. You have survived another day, and tomorrow you will do it all again. Rest now, the wind has calmed for a moment. The animals have settled. The camp sleeps buried beneath the snow. And you are safe inside the story. Let the fire fade to embers. Let your breath slow. The step is quiet, and it waits. Now we step back from the campfires and cold. We follow a thread through time. The journey of one man, born into hardship, forged by betrayal, and remembered across the world by a name, Genghis Khan. But first he was simply Temujin. No empire, no armies. Just a boy, growing up in the wind shadow of the steppe. Temujin was born around 1162, along the banks of the Onon River in what is now northeastern Mongolia. His father was a tribal leader, not powerful but respected, a man named Yesugei. Temujin's early life was modest. He likely rode before he could speak in full sentences. He drank mare's milk, slept in a ger, and learned from an early age that alliances on the steppe could shift as fast as a winter storm. At the age of 9, he was betrothed to a girl named Berta. As was custom, he was sent to live with her family until marriage. But during that time, his father was poisoned by rivals, and everything changed. When Temujin returned home, he found his world stripped bare. His family was abandoned by their tribe. His mother, Hoelun, was left to care for her children alone in the brutal cold without support. They survived by digging roots, by trapping small animals, by drinking what little milk their remaining animals could give. Hunger was constant, fear a companion. But it was here, in these formative years of exile and need, that Temujin's core was shaped. He learned that strength came not from bloodlines, but from loyalty. That tribes could dissolve overnight, but trust once earned could endure. As a teenager, Temujin showed leadership. He began to gather followers, not nobles or warriors, but outcasts like himself. Men and families who had been pushed to the edges. He forged bonds not just through marriage or tradition, but through merit. He promoted warriors based on skill, not birth. This was unusual and dangerous. Rival leaders saw him as a threat. Twice he was captured. Once he escaped with the help of a sympathetic guard. Another time he was hunted but hid for days along a riverbank, eating insects and roots. Each close call strengthened his resolve, and slowly his following grew. By his early 20s, Temujin had married Berta. She would remain his chief wife, wise, patient, and politically important. Their bond was strong, but no peace lasted long. When Berta was kidnapped by a rival tribe, Temujin assembled his allies and rescued her. It was more than a personal mission. It was a statement. He would protect those loyal to him fiercely. This moment solidified his role as a leader of consequence. Others began to follow, and in time his vision extended beyond simple survival. He sought unity, a concept rare on the fragmented steppe. He broke apart old tribal hierarchies. He organized warriors into groups of 10, 100, 1,000, creating an army bound not by kinship, but by command, discipline, and reward. It was revolutionary. In 1206, Temujin was declared Genghis Khan, universal ruler. The title was not ceremonial, it was earned. By then, he had united the Mongol tribes, conquered enemies, forged treaties, and built a foundation for something far greater than a kingdom. His rule was strict, but based on law. He issued codes of conduct called the Yasa that governed crime, trade, and even animal care. He promoted religious tolerance, appointed generals from the ranks of his former enemies, instituted a postal system using mounted couriers, each relay camp spaced carefully across the empire. It was not just war, it was governance, it was structure. And it came from a boy who had once starved in the snow. But his campaigns were also relentless. From the plains of Central Asia to the walls of Zhongdu, modern-day Beijing, his armies rode with terrifying precision. Cities fell, borders vanished. and the world took notice. Still, in the quiet corners of camp life, Genghis remained somewhat austere. He preferred meat boiled simply in salted water. He slept in a felt tent, even during military campaigns. He valued humility, at least in posture, among his closest companions. He knew the cost of arrogance. He had seen it in the eyes of those who once cast him out. By the time of his death in 1227, Genghis Khan had ruled over the largest contiguous empire in history. But his story began in hunger, in frost, in exile. His greatness was not preordained. It was built, deliberately, painfully, piece by piece, across a lifetime of hardship and resilience. So as you lie there, warm and still, think of the wind on the Onon River, of the boy with empty hands who rose to command the known world. His journey was not fast. It was not easy, but it was steady, like the hooves of a Mongol horse, never rushed, never stopping until they reached their destination. Let your thoughts drift with him into the long grass beneath the wide sky and rest. Now let us leave the living behind, the camps, the warriors, the horses, and step gently into a mystery that has lasted for centuries. A quiet riddle buried in soil and silence. The final resting place of Genghis Khan. No monument marks it. No stele, no mausoleum, no gilded name carved in stone. Only stories, only whispers, only the absence of certainty. And yet, somewhere beneath the earth of Mongolia, he sleeps. According to tradition, when Genghis Khan died in 1227, possibly from wounds sustained in battle, or perhaps from a fall off his horse, his body was taken back to his homeland. But where exactly? That is the question. The Mongols were deeply private about death. Even great leaders passed with humility. There were no pyramids or imperial tombs like in other empires. Instead, death was folded into the land, unspoken, unseen. The most commonly held belief is that his body was returned to the Khenti Mountains, a sacred region in northeastern Mongolia where he was born. There, it is said, a group of loyal attendants buried him in secrecy. They may have diverted rivers to conceal the site. Some accounts claim they killed anyone who saw the funeral procession. Others say the grave was trampled by 1,000 horses to erase all trace. And then, nothing, no marker, no memory, just wind. In the centuries that followed, rumors abounded. Some claimed the tomb was filled with unimaginable treasure. Others believed it had traps, spikes, tunnels, false chambers, waiting to punish intruders. Local legends grew around the idea that the tomb was cursed, that disturbing it would bring misfortune, that his spirit must not be awakened. And so, for hundreds of years, the mystery endured. Even now, no confirmed tomb of Genghis Khan has ever been found. But in the modern era, the search continues. Archaeologists, historians, and even satellite researchers have tried to locate it. Some have focused on the Ichkorig region, known as the Great Taboo, a vast protected area in the Khenti Mountains, forbidden to outsiders for centuries. It's an area the size of a small country, covered in forest and ridge. Drone imagery and remote sensing have revealed strange rectangular anomalies beneath the trees, suggesting foundations, perhaps burial sites, perhaps nothing. But no excavation has been allowed. To dig there would not only be politically sensitive, but spiritually profound. Many Mongolians oppose the idea. To disturb Genghis Khan's grave, they say, would dishonor the great Khan's memory and fracture a bond between past and land. The earth has held him this long. Why rush it? Other researchers have looked further afield, using ground-penetrating radar, comparing ancient texts, analyzing shifting riverbeds. In 2015, a team led a non-invasive survey of suspected burial sites. They uncovered ancient structures, walls, enclosures, roads, but no tomb. The silence persisted. One project even used volunteers on the internet. Thousands of people combing through satellite photos, hoping to spot irregularities. Still, nothing conclusive, and so the mystery deepens. There is something strangely peaceful in this, that in an age of drones and data, some secrets remain. that the emperor who shaped nations might still be sleeping beneath the soil, undisturbed, unnamed, unmarked, a return to the steppe, not in glory but in quiet. Perhaps that's how he wished it, to merge with the land, to become one with the rhythm of grass and mountain, not remembered by a building but by wind, not mourned with marble but with silence. So when you hear the breeze through trees or the sound of hooves across an empty plain, know that somewhere in that vast emptiness, he remains. Not found, not forgotten, just resting. Now take a breath. Let the mystery wash over you. Let your thoughts settle like dust on ancient stone. We will leave this riddle undisturbed as we turn one last time to the quiet elegance of life among the noble. Let's walk toward the warm light of a Mongol noblewoman's ger, where ritual and rhythm take the place of war. And now we leave behind the secrets of the earth, the cold of winter and the clang of conquest, and step quietly into a different kind of life. A life of calm authority, of silks and sheepskin, of decision-making not on the battlefield, but from within the round walls of a felt-wrapped world. Tonight you are no longer a herder, you are no longer a soldier. You are a Khatun, a Mongol noblewoman, and yours is a power few understand. The GR is the same shape, but not the same in feel. The walls are thick with embroidered felt. Colored banners hang from the central poles, reds, ochres, indigo, blue. Low wooden chests line the edges, their lacquered surfaces painted with swirling vines. Everything is in its place. Outside, the world may be harsh, but here it is ordered. Balanced, still, you rise at dawn, but not in haste. A servant stokes the fire. Another brings warmed water in a copper bowl. Your robes are heavy with embroidery, lined in fur. Your headdress, carefully wrapped, carries small ornaments, tokens of clan and status. And yet, for all this refinement, yours is not a life of idleness. In Mongol society, women of noble birth held authority not as an exception, but as part of the rhythm of governance. You as a Khatun may oversee entire stretches of pasture land, organize caravans, approve marriages, or receive emissaries while your husband is away at war. When he rides to campaign, you do not wait helplessly. You rule in his stead. You sit at the center of the camp, not at its edge. And when the Kuriltai, the Great Council, is called, your counsel is expected. Women have voice here. Marriage, of course, is not romantic. It is alliance. When you were a girl, you were likely sent to marry a noble from a different tribe, perhaps far away, perhaps older than you. But in that marriage, your influence begins. If you are the chief wife, you manage the primary jur and direct the household's women, servants, and younger children. You control trade goods, silks from China, incense from the south, rare spices or medicines acquired on the road. Your name may be known in far-off courts. You may even negotiate directly with foreign envoys, speaking through translators, measuring their offerings and words alike. But there is also the domestic rhythm. It is steady, woven into the days like a song without a beginning or end. Children need tending. Herds must be accounted for. Felt must be pounded, hides scraped, tea bricks portioned, scrolls carefully stored. You take long walks to inspect the animals. You run your fingers across a new robe gifted from Samarkand. You test its weight, its truth. You might oversee a feast during the summer gathering, Nedam. Musicians play the Morin Kur, the horsehead fiddle with its slow, haunting tones. You listen, your hands wrapped around a shallow silver cup of fermented mare's milk. Everything is in motion yet unhurried. When the weather turns, you direct the migration. Where to set up the winter camp? Where the grass is still tall? Which rivers have frozen early? The camp follows your judgment. Even in a world wide, yours is a map of knowledge, climate, terrain, labor, and people. In the twilight hours, you write or dictate letters in Mongolian script or Uyghur script. You affix seals. You authorize traders to carry your goods hundreds of miles. You speak for your household and sometimes for your clan. And yet, despite all the dignity, you sleep in the same circular space as everyone else. Your bedding is laid close to the fire, just beside the family shrine. The smells of meat and smoke, of incense and wool, settle around you like a familiar weight. You lie back beneath heavy blankets, listening to the distant yelps of guard dogs, the whisper of cold wind outside. Tomorrow, you may meet a merchant caravan, or receive news from the court, or prepare your son for his first riding test. But for now, you rest, so breathe deeply. Let the world of the cartoon surround you, neither throne nor prison, but a center of quiet command. Let the flickering shadows on the felt walls lull you, as they have lulled generations. This is not the end of the empire, this is its pulse. And now, close your eyes and let history hold you gently. As our time in the vast, windswept steppes draws to a close, imagine yourself slowly settling deeper into your own space. Perhaps a quiet bedroom or a softly lit room. You have traveled far today, through frozen winter camps where every breath is a challenge, felt the weight of cold biting at your skin, walked beside a young Temujin as he rose from exile to legend, wondered at the silent secrets buried beneath Mongol soil, and finally rested within the velvet calm of a noblewoman's jur. Each step, each story has been a gentle thread, woven through time and across centuries, a slow unfolding of lives both harsh and dignified, simple and complex. The rhythm of those ancient days is not so unlike your own breathing now, steady, unhurried, persistent. The past, with all its stark realities and quiet moments of grace, wraps around you softly, like a heavy woolen cloak. There is a strange comfort in knowing these lives were lived, in knowing that you have borne witness to their endurance, their resolve. And now, in the stillness that follows, let the present draw you gently home. Feel the softness of your own bed, the warmth of your blankets, and the quiet peace that comes with the night. There is nothing more for you to do, only to rest, to breathe and to drift, safe and calm. Good night.